So, first of all, what needs to happen for the UN climate talks?
Well, what needs to happen isn't what's going to happen, because we need a legally binding agreement to come out of it. If you think that the Kyoto Protocol took 11 years before it started to be implemented, and it has to be replaced by the end of 2012. So any agreement that's struck has to be enforced by the end of 2012. Even if there were a legally binding agreement at Copenhagen, that would be a very tight
Dave doesn't have slides on either.
It's not going to be. Not at least until next year. And that begins to look very, very difficult. You know, whether it's possible that there will be a new agreement by the time the old one runs out. Who knows? And the real danger is that if you lose the momentum and you don't get an agreement at Copenhagen this year, once the red carpets have been rolled up and crockery's been cleared away, governments tend to lose interest. That's what happened with the Doha round of the World Trade Organization. It's a completely different issue, but it didn't get resolved when it was going to be resolved. And 8 years later, it still hasn't. And something which strikes me as ominous is that what they did after Doha was to say we'll move it to Mexico next year. They took it to Cancun in Mexico, and already the diplomats in Copenhagen are saying, well, when the process fails at Copenhagen, we'll move it to Mexico. And I'm wondering whether moving it to Mexico is a euphemism. That's just kicking it into the long grass and forgetting about it.
So there are a lot of obstacles to getting what we need out of the Copenhagen.
There are tremendous obstacles, and I'm sorry to say that obstacle number one is Canada.
And so you're in Canada at a very crucial time in the lead up to Copenhagen. Is that intentional?
It is entirely intentional. I haven't flown for 2 years, and I didn't want to fly ever again. But so many people have pressed me to come to Canada and to help to kick up a fuss about the fact that the government is not doing anything at all, to advance the process and doing everything in its power to obstruct the process, that I've broken my self-imposed ban, and I think it's a sensible thing to do, because time is so short, and we need, if this is the nation which is the major obstacle, then we need everyone possible to mobilise to get something done.
Now, a lot of mainstream media outlets, to switch to your role as a journalist with the Guardian, a lot of mainstream media outlets are still balancing their reporting with coverage of climate change, and includes a lot of mainstream media here in Canada. So what's the role of media, as well as your role as a journalist, in shaping the way that action is taken on climate change?
Well, of course, the debate about whether or not climate change is happening, which you see in the media, it does not reflect a debate in the scientific literature. Scientists are not divided over this, but journalists are. And so it's a fake debate. It's a debate which depends entirely upon science, but doesn't actually refer to the science. And perhaps we shouldn't be surprised. Media organisations are big corporations. Many of them have interests in energy-intensive industries of one sort or another. Even if they don't have direct interests themselves, they are part of that rich man's club, which does. And so they don't want to see that change taking place, and they will oppose almost instinctively anyone who suggests that there should be any restriction on the activities of business. And that's what it's all about. This isn't a debate about climate change, this is a debate about business, and a debate about money, and it's masquerading as a debate about climate change.
And now you're also in Canada participating in the Monk debate on Tuesday. And I know that a lot of people in the climate community are avoiding debates of climate change deniers or skeptics versus people that are arguing for action. Why did you decide to take this debate that was posed in that way?
Well, you can't avoid these people forever. There's a good argument for avoiding them, which is that the very contention that there's a debate to be had is what they're trying to put across. And so by having that debate, you are going along with that idea that there is a debate to be had about the science, where the science is as firm as any other science. It's as firm as a science which links smoking to lung cancer or HIV to AIDS. In other words, it's not definitive because no science ever is, but it's as strong as science can be. But these guys just keep dripping at public consciousness, and they are now having a very major impact. We are seeing all over the world a collapse in public confidence in the idea that man-made climate change is taking place because these people have been so effective. And sometimes you just sort of stand up and fight them.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Anything else you'd like to add?
No.